My name is Sullivan Marlowe, but most people just call me Issa. I'm 28 years old, and for a long time I thought being called safe was a compliment. Steady, loyal, the kind of woman who shows up when she says she will, who remembers your favorite coffee order, who listens without interrupting, and who genuinely means it when she texts, "Let me know when you get home safe." I thought those qualities made me someone worth holding on to. But to Aaron, I was just a safety net. Aaron and I had been together for just over 2.5 years. We met at a friend's rooftop party. He was the kind of man who made the whole crowd bend toward him. Big laugh, restless energy, always moving, always surrounded. Me? I wasn't the life of the party. I was the one quietly standing near the railing, sipping wine, trying not to look too awkward. And somehow, that night, his gaze found mine. He told me later that I felt different, grounded, like I calmed his chaos. At first, I believed that was a good thing. I still remember how it started, him bouncing between jobs, stressed and anxious, and me staying up with him until 2 in the morning, talking through every possibility. Him drowning in credit card debt, and me quietly setting up a budget spreadsheet for him. When his roommate kicked him out, I told him he could move into my apartment just until he found a place. He never left. I was there through his breakdowns, his frantic calls, his endless spiral about work and friends. And yes, I helped hold him together. That's not bragging. That's just the truth. Looking back, I should have realized sooner. When he said I made him feel safe, he didn't mean cherished. He meant predictable. About 6 months before everything unraveled, Aaron landed a new job in digital branding. It came with late nights, downtown co-working spaces, endless networking drinks, and wellness mixers with people who called themselves energy-free spirits. Suddenly, his phone buzzed constantly with notifications from people I didn't know. At first, I didn't mind. I trusted him. I had no reason not to. But then the comments started. "You're lucky I'm not one of those guys who cheats, you know?" he said once, half joking, half smirking. Another time, after a night out, "I just don't think humans were meant to mate for life, biologically speaking." I laughed the first time. By the third time, I wasn't laughing anymore. It felt like a rehearsal for something worse. And then came her, Talia, the gym girl. He met her at the fitness studio. His job gave him a free membership, too. Suddenly, he was doing partner workouts, drinking recovery smoothies with her, and raving about how motivated she made him feel. When I asked about her once, he waved me off. "Don't be weird, Issa. She's just energy. You're home." At the time, I thought he was trying to reassure me. But "your home" sounded less like comfort and more like a warning. One Thursday night, he came home late. After midnight late. I'd already been in bed, drifting in and out of sleep, when I heard the clink of a wine bottle in the kitchen. He came into the bedroom without turning on the lights, stood there like a shadow at the door. "I need to talk to you," he said. I switched on the lamp. He wasn't drunk. His eyes were clear, his posture steady. That terrified me more than any slurred words could have. "I've been thinking," he began, voice calm. "I feel like I'm not done exploring." My stomach twisted. Exploring what? People. Myself. What's out there? His tone was so casual, like we were talking about weekend plans. "I don't want to cheat. I want to experience more of life, and I feel like we've gotten so settled." I didn't say anything. I couldn't. "I'm not saying we should break up," he added quickly. "I just think maybe I should be allowed to explore a little. You'll still be here if I come back, right?" I blinked at him. "What?" He sat down at the edge of the bed, his knee brushing mine like we were close, like we were partners. "You're my safe space, Issa. You're always steady. I know you love me, and I love you too. But I want to see what else is out there. If I realize I made a mistake, I want to be able to come back. To this. To you." My breath caught in my throat. He was asking me to hold his place in line while he tried other women. "You want to keep me around while you test drive other people?" He shrugged. "Don't put it like that. It's not, But it was. That was exactly what it was. And in that moment, I felt something inside me fracture, not with noise, not with fury, but quietly, like glass breaking underwater. I didn't argue, I didn't beg, I didn't scream. I just nodded, stood up, and said softly, "Thank you for being honest." Then I walked out of the bedroom and curled up on the couch. Because deep down I knew nothing about us would ever be the same again. The next morning, sunlight slipped through the blinds, and for the first time since Aaron had moved in, I didn't feel like my apartment was mine. It was his shoes in the hallway, his cologne lingering in the bathroom, his jacket draped over the chair. Everything suddenly looked like evidence of an intruder. He made coffee like nothing had changed. He even smiled at me. that lopsided grin that used to disarm me. "Hey," he said, as if he hadn't just asked for permission to betray me. I sat across from him, silent, staring at the steam rising from my cup. My chest felt tight, like something was pressing down on it. He looked up. "You're upset." "No," I said evenly. "I'm awake." He chuckled, not realizing the weight of what I was about to do. I let him leave for work, let the door shut behind him, and then I picked up my phone and called a locksmith. It felt cold, calculating, but also inevitable. While I waited, I packed his things into boxes. The sneakers lined up like trophies, the vintage band tees, the notebooks filled with half-finished ideas. Every item was proof of a man who never finished anything. When the locksmith changed the locks, I stood there watching the old key fall uselessly into my palm. It was symbolic. He'd locked me out of his future the moment he asked for an exploration pass. Now I was locking him out of mine. By evening, his belongings were taped up and delivered to his sister's apartment. I even wrote a note. "These belong to Aaron. Take care. Nothing more, nothing less." When Aaron came home that night, his key wouldn't turn. I could hear him rattling the handle, confused. He called my name, once, twice. Then his voice sharpened. "Isa, what the hell? The lock's broken." I opened the door just enough to face him. His expression shifted from irritation to disbelief. "What did you do?" he demanded. I met his eyes. My voice didn't shake. "You wanted freedom. Now you have it." He laughed in disbelief. "Are you serious? Don't be so dramatic. I didn't say I was leaving you. I just wanted to keep things open." "Open," I repeated softly, as if testing the word. "You mean you wanted to have me waiting here while you went out and tried other women? That's not open, Aaron. That's cruel." He rolled his eyes. "You're twisting it. You're scared I'll find someone better." "No," I said, steady. "I'm scared I'll waste my life waiting for someone who already told me I'm not enough." For a moment, silence hung between us. The hallway felt too quiet, the hum of the elevator at the end of the corridor the only sound. Finally, he smirked, like I was playing some stubborn game. "You'll come around. You always do." I didn't answer. I closed the door, slowly, firmly, until his face was gone. Inside, I pressed my back against the wood. My hands were trembling, but my resolve wasn't. He thought I was bluffing. He thought my quiet meant weak, but he didn't understand. Some of us don't explode. We just disappear. That night, I lay in bed alone. For the first time in months, I actually slept through the night. No late calls, no chaos pacing the floors, no whirlwind moods I had to absorb. Just silence. But silence has a weight, too. As I stared at the ceiling in the dark, one thought lingered. This wasn't the end of Aaron, not yet. Because people like him never walk away quietly. They flail, they claw, and when they drown, they always try to pull someone else under with them. It didn't take long for Aaron's shiny new world to crumble. Barely 3 weeks after our split, word reached me, through a mutual friend, that Talia, the gym girl, had already dropped him. Someone caught Aaron kissing another woman at a rooftop party, and the video made the rounds on Instagram. Talia blasted him publicly, then ghosted him completely. It was almost too fitting. Aaron had wanted to explore. Exploration chewed him up faster than he expected. From there, the dominoes fell fast. A brand he'd been working with canceled a deal after he picked a Twitter fight with someone who accused him of stealing their ideas. His roommates, tired of the endless drama and late-night fights, kicked him out. He started bouncing between couches, dragging a suitcase like a warning sign that said, "Here comes chaos. Clear your calendar." And I watched it all from a distance. I didn't stalk his pages. I didn't text mutual friends for updates. But news has a way of finding you when people know you're the one who got burned. Every so often, someone would drop a casual, "Hey, have you heard about Aaron?" like they were testing me. At first, I braced myself. I expected heartbreak to sneak in like a thief, to undo me. But the strangest thing happened. It didn't. Instead of hurt, I felt relief. Instead of jealousy, I felt distance. Because for the first time in years, I had quiet. I wasn't waking up to frantic 2 a.m. calls about someone betraying him. I wasn't rushing to soothe his spiraling moods. I wasn't a therapist, a mother, a cheerleader, all trapped in one body. I was just me. Isa. Alone. At peace. I started sleeping 8 hours a night. I began cooking food I liked without hearing him scoff. That's not Instagram aesthetic. I picked up my sketchbook again, something I hadn't touched in years. Even my work at the software firm felt sharper, freer, like my brain finally had space to breathe. Sometimes people confuse silence with emptiness, but to me, silence was abundance. It was the sound of my life, finally uncluttered. Of course, Aaron noticed my absence. The first attempt came a week after the breakup. A message from an unknown number. "Hey, it's me. I've been thinking a lot. I miss you. Can we talk?" I stared at the screen, waiting for my stomach to twist with old instinct, but nothing happened. No adrenaline, no ache. Just a heavy calm. I typed one sentence. "I'm not available anymore." He replied instantly. "Issa, don't be like this. You said you loved me." I didn't answer. That's when the voicemail came. I almost didn't listen, but curiosity got the better of me. His voice cracked like shattered glass. "Issa, I know I hurt you. I messed up, okay? I thought I needed more. I thought life was about fire, about chaos. But all I did was lose the only person who ever really loved me. Everyone else just uses me. You never did. Please, please let me come back. I'll do anything. I'll go to therapy. I'll cut off people. Just don't shut me out." I listened to the end, then quietly deleted it. Because I knew it wasn't about him changing. It was about me refusing to shrink again. He tried other doors after that. He reached out through mutual friends, asking them to plead his case. One coworker messaged me on Instagram. "He still loves you, Issa. He just got caught up in the wrong crowd. Give him another chance." I left it on read. Then his sister called me. "Issa, he's a mess. He cries when your name comes up. He really thought you'd wait." And that was the problem. He really thought I would. Aaron had mistaken my kindness for weakness, my silence for patience. He believed I'd hold his spot like a doormat in girlfriend form, loyal no matter how many times he stepped outside. But he was wrong. Quiet doesn't mean weak. Some of us don't beg. We don't scream. We just walk away. And when we do, we don't look back. As Aaron's life unraveled, mine rebuilt. The contrast was almost cruel in its clarity. His chaos was a storm tearing itself apart. My silence was not absence. It was peace. I knew it was only a matter of time before Aaron stopped hiding behind texts and voicemails. He wasn't the type to accept silence. He needed noise, drama, spectacle. It was a Saturday afternoon when it finally happened. I'd just come back from the gym, earbuds still in, groceries in my arms, when I saw him standing outside my apartment building. Aaron. Same careless hair, same restless energy, but dulled now, ragged at the edges. He tugged at the door handle like it had betrayed him. When he spotted me, his face lit up with something halfway between relief and entitlement. "Finally," he said, like I'd kept him waiting on purpose. "We need to talk." I didn't stop walking. I tapped my security code, pushed the door open. He slipped in behind me before I could block him. Inside the lobby, he followed me toward the elevators, his voice tumbling fast. "Issa, I know I messed up. I shouldn't have said what I said. I was stupid. But I've been thinking about everything, and I realize now how much I took you for granted." I kept walking, groceries biting into my arms. He grabbed my elbow lightly, enough to force me to pause. 5 minutes. That's all I'm asking. I set the bags down and turned to him. My voice was calm, steady. "This isn't the time." "When is then?" His tone sharpened, the pleading edge slipping into accusation. "You blocked me everywhere. You gave me zero closure. You think that's fair?" "You wanted freedom," I said flatly. "You got it." His jaw tightened. "Don't act like I cheated on you. I didn't. I needed space to figure myself out." I met his eyes without flinching. "Space is when you breathe alone, Aaron. Not when you test other lips and expect me to wait at the door. What you wanted wasn't space. It was a backup plan." That hit him. He blinked, his bravado cracking for half a second before he masked it with anger. "You're twisting my words." "No." I shook my head. "I'm untwisting them. You made them clear enough." For a moment, the lobby was so quiet that I could hear the hum of the vending machine down the hall. Aaron exhaled sharply, then tried a softer angle. His voice dropped. "I didn't know what I had, Issa. You were everything. Stable, loving, kind. No one else is like you. I've been treated like garbage since I left. Used, lied to, ghosted. I don't want chaos anymore. I want you." I studied him carefully. His hair was unwashed, his eyes bloodshot. His voice quivered with desperation, and yet none of it moved me. Because here's what he didn't understand. I wasn't his refuge anymore. I wasn't his safe place to crash after chasing fire that burned him down. I was done being the safety net for someone who only looked down on me when he wasn't falling. "I'm not something you come back to when the world kicks you around," I said quietly. His eyes narrowed, bitterness rushing in where vulnerability had failed. You don't get to act superior. You never even fought for me. I tilted my head, voice low but firm. No, Aaron. I just respected myself. That landed harder than any scream could have. For once, he didn't have a comeback. I picked up my grocery bags and turned toward the elevator. His voice followed me, softer now, almost a whisper. You think you're better than me now? I didn't look back. No, I know I'm better off. The elevator doors slid shut between us, and for the first time in years, I didn't feel caged in with him. I felt free. But even as I rode up to my apartment, I knew this wasn't over. People like Aaron didn't stop at locked doors. When they flailed, they dragged. And he wasn't done dragging. By late summer, the dust of Aaron's chaos had settled everywhere but on me. I had begun piecing together a life that felt like mine again. My days were calmer, my nights quieter. I started saying yes to invitations I used to decline. Dinner with coworkers, a weekend trip with my cousin. And one evening, against my better instincts, I went to a friend's housewarming party. That's where I met Ethan. He wasn't flashy, not the kind who needed to command every room. He was a graphic designer, soft-spoken, funny in a low-key way. He asked real questions and actually listened to the answers. When I mentioned I loved hiking, he didn't roll his eyes or joke about it being basic. He asked what my favorite trails were. Our conversation flowed like water, effortless. No games, no waiting for the other shoe to drop. After years of emotional whiplash with Aaron, the ease of Ethan's presence felt like standing barefoot on cool grass after walking through fire. We started seeing each other casually. I didn't rush. I wasn't looking to prove anything. But with every coffee, every walk, every laugh that didn't come with a sting, I felt myself remembering what it was like to breathe without tension. And then, of course, the universe decided to test me. It happened at a mutual friend's birthday party. I almost didn't go, but Ethan insisted it would be fun, that I deserved nights filled with laughter instead of ghosts. We walked in together, hand in hand, and I felt his warmth grounding me. Then, out of the corner of my eye, I saw him. Aaron. He was standing near the drinks table, dressed up but worn down. His smile was too tight. His shoulders hunched like he was holding up invisible weight. When his eyes found mine, the fake grin crumbled. For a moment, he just stared, stunned. Then his gaze flicked to Ethan, and I watched his jaw clench. The roles had reversed. I wasn't the steady woman waiting in his shadow. I wasn't the safe space he took for granted. I was the woman he lost. Publicly, clearly, irrevocably. And he was just another face in a crowded room. He didn't approach right away. He lingered by the drinks, pretending to chat, but his eyes kept sliding back to me like a moth to a flame it couldn't touch anymore. Later in the night, when Ethan stepped away to grab us food, Aaron saw his opening. He cornered me near the hallway, his voice sharp with bitterness. So this is it? You move on that fast? I didn't flinch. It wasn't fast. It was healing. His laugh was hollow. You replaced me. I met his gaze, steady. No, Aaron. I replaced chaos with peace. That silenced him. For the first time since I'd known him, Aaron looked small. Not in stature, but in spirit. Like he was seeing himself clearly, reflected not in my devotion, but in my absence. When Ethan returned, his hand brushed mine, natural and unforced. Aaron watched us, his face a mask he couldn't keep from cracking. I didn't need to be anything more. The truth was obvious to everyone in that room, especially him. I had rebuilt. He was still sifting through the wreckage he created. I thought that party would be the last time Aaron tried to pull me back into his orbit. But when someone's life is unraveling, they don't always disappear quietly. They flail, they reach. And sometimes they aim their reach straight at the person who already let go. About a week after the party, I opened my inbox and saw his name, a new email. The subject line was short, bitter. You win. That alone told me everything I needed to know. For a moment, I considered deleting it without reading. But some part of me, maybe curiosity, maybe closure, clicked it open. It wasn't long, not like his previous walls of text filled with half-baked apologies. This time, it was stripped of all pretense. I saw you with him. I hope she knows how lucky she is. You're not who I remember. You've changed. But maybe that's what you wanted. Someone boring enough to never challenge you. You know what? You are safe. That's all you'll ever be. Predictable. And when she gets bored, don't come crying to me. I sat back in my chair and let out a laugh. Not cruel, not mocking, just final. Because there it was. The truth of Aaron, laid bare. Even now, even broken, he couldn't resist twisting the knife. He couldn't admit he lost me. He had to frame it as me being dull, me being replaceable, me being boring. But what he didn't realize was that the word safe, the one he'd once used like an insult, had become my crown. I didn't need fire that burned everything it touched. I didn't need the chaos he mistook for love. I needed peace. And peace, unlike him, stayed. Of course, Aaron wasn't done yet. A few days later, a mutual friend texted me, "Heads up, Aaron's been messaging some of your coworkers, trying to make it sound like you abandoned him, like you're heartless. Just thought you should know." I sighed, but I wasn't surprised. Aaron had always been good at spinning stories, painting himself as the victim in a play he wrote, but this time his script no longer included me. I didn't respond to his email. I didn't address his gossip. Because silence, I'd learned, was stronger than any defense. That night, lying in bed, I stared at the ceiling and thought about the locks I'd changed. They weren't just on the apartment. They were on my life, my boundaries, my heart. Aaron had thrown every key he could find at me. Apologies, threats, pity, bitterness. None of them fit anymore. And for the first time in years, I felt completely secure. Not in him, not in us, but in me. 2 months passed after that bitter email, and I almost forgot Aaron existed. My life had shape again. Mornings at the gym, evenings sketching by the window, weekends spent with Ethan on long drives or quiet hikes. It wasn't flashy, it wasn't loud, but it was real. Then came Jesse's engagement party, a backyard celebration filled with fairy lights, too much sangria, and the warmth of people who had known me since college. Ethan and I arrived late, laughing at some dumb inside joke about the dog we'd seen on the way there. I didn't even think about who might be on the guest list until I heard his voice. Aaron. He was standing near the snack table, dressed in a coral shirt that tried too hard. Next to him was a date, tall, tan, uninterested, already scrolling through her phone. Aaron looked up and froze when he saw me. His smile collapsed like a paper house in the rain. I nodded politely and walked past him, Ethan's hand warm in mine. For most of the evening, I didn't think about him. I laughed with Jesse, danced a little, tasted the terrible sangria. But eventually, as these things always go, Aaron found me, alone on the patio, while Ethan was inside fetching drinks. He hovered for a moment, then spoke. "You look different." I met his eyes. "I feel different." His gaze flicked toward the house, toward Ethan's silhouette through the sliding doors. "So that's her. Natalie, right?" I smiled faintly. "Ethan," he scoffed. "Figures, he seemed safe." There it was, the old smirk, the old jab, but it landed flat this time. "Yeah," I said softly. "He is. Safe, kind, honest. Everything I used to mistake for boring." Aaron's mouth twisted. "You used to be more passionate, less composed." "No," I said, shaking my head. "I used to be more tolerant of chaos, of disrespect, of being treated like a backup plan." His face reddened, then paled. "I didn't come here to fight." "Then don't," I replied simply. He shifted, his arms crossed like armor. I didn't think you'd move on so fast." I looked at him evenly. I didn't move on fast. I moved on slow. Through nights staring at the ceiling, through mornings reminding myself not to check my phone, through months of learning to live without someone who never really stayed. But when I finally moved on, Aaron, I meant it. For a moment, the only sound was the distant music inside. His mouth opened, then closed. His eyes searched mine for something that wasn't there anymore. "So that's it?" His voice cracked. "You're just done?" I smiled, not out of cruelty, but clarity. "I was done the moment I realized I didn't break us. You did." He swallowed hard, trying for one last jab. "Wow. Got all the quotes now, huh? Did your new boyfriend help you rehearse that?" I shook my head. "No, he doesn't need to. He just shows me what real love looks like." And just like that, the fight drained out of him. His shoulders slumped. His eyes, once so sure of their power over me, looked lost. I picked up my glass from the patio table and turned back toward the house. Ethan was walking out, 2 drinks in hand, a quiet smile on his face. He didn't ask what was said. He didn't need to. He just handed me my drink and slipped his hand into mine. As we walked inside together, I glanced back once. Aaron was still standing there, staring at us. Not angry, not smug, just stunned. Because for the first time, he saw it clearly. I wasn't waiting. I wasn't aching. I wasn't his safety net